how long Chelsea will be able to keep him at bay, if that makes sense. Because if Chelsea aren't going to be qualifying for the Champions League this season or next season, which I think they could, I'm not saying they couldn't, but say they don't, does he stay? Do you really stay at Stamford Bridge when he could walk into Liverpool's and Arsenal's and City's team? To be honest, they'd find a space for him. Cole Palmer, he's that good.
Do you know what I mean? To me, like the kind of player who would stay, and I'm not really basing that on anything in particular. But I mean, in terms of Europe, I mean, they're a point outside the top four right now. I know they're in seventh, but they're on 43 points, and Man City are in fourth on 44. So the European question is still way, there's still every chance they can make it. But I don't think Palmer would be. I can't see why he'd be, so keen to kind of get out of the club if they miss out on Europe by a little bit. They have a decent manager there.
I think you underestimate how much the Champions League means these players. To be honest, that's the problem. What I'm thinking is, say a Barcelona or a Real Madrid start piping up a bit of interest. Do you want to stay at Chelsea in the Conference League or the Europa League if that's where you are again?
If there's interest in him, if a club does come in for him, and if it's an enticing club, and if they're in Europe, then yeah, I mean, he might more or less want to go. But I think if there's no offers, I think he'd be perfectly happy to stay there and get Chelsea back in the top four. That's what I mean. Sorry, Matt.
I do think though that I agree with what you're saying there, Carl. If we miss out on Champions League again, and we might win the Europa League Conference League. Sorry, I always get that wrong. Conference League. Yeah, okay. Then we go into the Europa League, and we've got that next season, which would be good. But if we then do it again next season under a manager who, in my opinion, doesn't look like he knows what he's doing at all, and there's no plan B whatsoever at this moment in time, I do think at the end of next season, if we weren't to achieve or succeed in expectations, I could see him going